Hi guys, this is Travis Spencer, and today we're going to talk about you and your health and why it matters. You see, we all want to be more. We want to be healthier, we want to be stronger, we want to have more energy, and ultimately, we just want to feel good in our own bodies. However, we've become a society that's been plagued with busyness and bad food and excuses and sadly, just laziness, and that's prevented us, it's kept us from being everything that we can be, from being the best that we can possibly be. We've entered this society that we have a ton of health risks now. We have type 2 diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, osteoarthritis, cancer, stroke, various other diseases are just running rampant in our society. But you see, according to the International Sports Science Association, the number one prescribed non-medical cure for things such as what I just listed and depression and anxiety is exercise. And some of you guys, well, what can I do? Some of you guys are asking the question, well, what can I do if I need to be exercising to help prevent these things and reduce the risk or to help alleviate and eliminate some of these? The question is, what can I do? Well, first of all, I'm going to define exercise. You see, exercise is not necessarily lifting weights. I'm an advocate for that, and I think it is the best way. But there are some of you out there that me saying the word gym is the equivalent of using a four-letter word that we are not supposed to use. And so I do understand that there is a level of that people just really don't like the gym. So that being said, exercise is really defined as just moving around, exerting energy for about 30 minutes a day. That is the kind of minimum standard for exercise. This could be anything from walking your dog to swimming to playing tag with your kids in the yard or playing basketball, and then the obvious, lifting weights, joining some kind of sports team or anything of that sort. I promise exercise does not mean that you have to look like 7-time Mr. Olympia athlete Phil Heath. It's just not necessary. So the next question is why in the world do I have to exercise? And that's a pretty basic question. I feel like anybody in America that has internet access or has watched TV has seen some sort of health commercial or somebody reposting a Facebook ad. And we all know that exercise is a good thing. Nobody is going to question that. Back to the list. It's a really simple explanation of why should I even exercise. We go through that medical list, like I said earlier. But guys, I truly believe that there's a deeper issue, and that issue is that you matter. You matter. You're important. You've been created in the likeness and the image of God, and He says you matter. Now hold on. Jesus and fitness just got thrown into one box. I get it. It's a little strange. But I truly believe that God wants us to be at our best. But we have to do our part to make that happen. We have to put in the work. Nobody wants to be run down. I mean, I work in a church. I'm in ministry, and I don't want to go in to ministry feeling sick all the time. I don't want to interact with my friends and family, my girlfriend, and just not have the energy and be irritable because I'm just so tired and I'm not healthy. Our part is hard, but I promise you it's achievable. Guys, the second thing is your family and your loved ones matter. And they love you. They love you. You see, your health and your fitness is not just about you. Your spouse, your kids, the people that are around you that love you, your family, they deserve the best from you as well. You see, I had a friend of mine who, when I was in high school, he kind of discipled me. He was in his mid-30s, and he had I believe his son was about 10 or 11 at the time, and his son's a very good little basketball player. Kids love to play ball 24/7. Well, his dad, my friend, had just kind of let life get the best of him, and he stopped taking care of himself. He just didn't eat right, He would come home from work and was just very lethargic, just tired. I wouldn't say lazy. I don't want to say that he was lazy, but he was definitely just exhausted because he hasn't taken care of himself. And I remember being over at his house, hanging out with him and his family, me and a couple of friends, and his son wanting to play basketball. And he had about 10 minutes. His dad had about 10 minutes that he could play. And at 35, 36, 37 years old, he just couldn't do it anymore. And it broke his heart. I remember the look on his son's face of, his son who just adores his dad, like kind of realizing the disappointment that he just, it hurt that his dad just couldn't play anymore. And it was just because he physically couldn't handle it. And then obviously seeing the look on his dad's face of him realizing like, oh my gosh, I can't even play for 10 minutes with my son. And this wasn't super competitive. It was just horsing around having fun. And it broke his heart. And so what my friend decided to do in the next coming weeks, man, he just got really serious. And he said, I'm going to start walking every day. He started walking every day. And then walking got easy. And he said, you know what, I'm going to start running every day. And then over a little bit more time, running got easy. And then he just kind of got addicted. And he said, I'm going to join a gym. He joined a gym. My buddy never became a bodybuilder. He never became any kind of crazy athlete. But he transformed his life. And since then, he's been able to play with his son and be competitive and have a good time and not have to quit a few minutes in. I have another story of the pastor at the church I work at right now. His name is Greg, and Greg is 56 years old, and about 4 years ago, I believe it was, he had a really bad heart scare. By looking at Greg, you would not assume that he was any kind of unhealthy or out of shape, but he developed some kind of, and I don't remember what it was, there was something going on in his heart, and it really scared him and his wife. And so Greg said, you know what, I'm going to get really serious about this stuff. And he cleaned up his diet, he started working out, and here 4 years later at 56 years old, Greg is under 10% body fat. He is, he's doing, there's videos of him on YouTube where he is doing one-handed pull-ups, where he is just making some of these young guys, including myself, just look like tiny children that can't even hold a candlestick to the things he can do. He took it a little bit to the extreme, but that's okay, and it worked, and he's healthy, and he feels better, and he has more energy than he knows what to do with. He can run circles around his grandkids, and people laugh and they rave about it all the time. But you see, there's something these two guys did that was kind of a theme of their story. Is both of them, they had something happen that caused them to make them change. But each of them started setting goals. They said, you know what, I've got to make a change. And they didn't just say that they have to make a change, but they said that they have to make a change, and they were really going to do something about it. So each of them sat down and they said, you know, I'm gonna make some realistic goals, and I'm gonna make some long-term goals. When I say realistic, I really mean short-term. When we make a short-term goal, this needs to be something that's attainable. So if I was going to say, I want to lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks, this is a very doable goal. I personally have done it. It does not take a ton of effort. It does take some discipline. It does take some time. It does take some work, but it is not something that is difficult to do. Now, on the other end, the long-term or crazier goal is something that is a little more lofty. So someone may say, you know, I want to lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks. But then they may say, you know what, in a year, in 365 days, I want to compete in a bodybuilding competition. Or I want to go to my first CrossFit meet and compete. Whether I win or lose, I want to do it. And I want to say, run a marathon. There are some people that may have to set that goal lower. They say, you know what, I just want to be able to run a mile without stopping. And that's a good goal, but for some, that may be a longer term goal. Here's the thing about goals. You have to get them out of your head and onto paper. Tape it to your mirror, put an alert in your phone. Heck, get a tattoo if you have to. You just have to do something that will force you to not lose sight of your goals. One of the cool things about exercise and setting goals is, man, exercise is so accessible now. There's so much information on YouTube that you can find on the internet. Everybody has that one fitness freak of a friend that everybody knows. They work out all the time, they eat right, you know, their biceps are just exploding out of their shirt or whatever it is. Or they have that CrossFit friend that all they talk about is CrossFit. Everybody has someone they can go to and find out some information, just ask questions. There's some huge pushes in programs for exercise. So in the recent years, the P90X program is phenomenal. The Insanity program is phenomenal. All these mud runs that have become popular now, because people like me who say, I don't want to go run a marathon because I just don't like running. It's miserable, it's terrible, and I would just rather be punched in the face than run. But some of these mud runs are like obstacle courses for adults, and that just makes me really happy and it makes me excited. And so maybe that's something someone could sign up for. Guys, at the end of the day, you matter. Your health matters, and it is a difficult process. It's a discipline, but I promise you it's worth it. I promise you your family is going to see that it's worth it. Your loved ones are going to see that it's worth it. And when the day comes that you've seen the results, you see that you feel better, that your clothes fit better, that you get complimented on, wow, you look great, you seem energetic and you're happier, man, it's worth it. It is worth it. It is worth the hard work. It is worth the discipline, and you are worth it.